What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of V4 Kaiju number 8. This is episode 3, and with me, as always, I have Bluefit.
Yeah. So picking up where the last episode left us off, which in which uh in which what was it? Reno and Kafka get into the academy, and of course they run into Kikoru, which she catches on that Kafka smells like a kaiju, but of course Reno covers for them when he reveals that they both work with kaiju disposal.
Mm.
um, but most of this episode, surprisingly, like, didn't go the way I thought it was gonna go, considering that Kafka has kaiju abilities, but he doesn't really use them uses it to his advantage.
I mean, I feel like it kind of makes sense considering he's uh, the kind of life he's been living up until recently, even though he did say he trained a lot for the exam or for trying to get into the defense force, but he can't rely on his kaiju abilities. So without his kaiju abilities, it seems like he's at a pretty big disadvantage compared to everybody else.
I mean, I thought he'd be a little bit stronger than he was supposed to be, considering that, he has these abilities, but it seems like he's just,
Yeah, but he can't
like,
utilize them.
yeah, not to mention that, many of the examiners are, watching over um, you know, every single participant on camera. I
Mm.
mean, if they were to catch Kafka transforming in the middle of this, then they wouldn't have hesitated to hunt him down.
Yeah, it seems like this is kind of gonna be how it is, I guess, through most of the series, where Kafka has to keep the fact that he can transform secret from at least most of the people around him.
Yeah, and 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 of course, once they get into the next part of the exam, in which they have to hunt various different kaiju that they somehow captured for training purposes. Um,
Well,
of
yeah, before this
course,
too, like they go through some other training exercises, like they try to they just kind of do various things like crawling underneath barbed wire and then just like getting into a foot race, um, where Kafka kind of laments the fact that he's not as physically fit as he used to be, even though he went through all that training. He blames it on his age, the fact that I guess he's like, I think 32, but and then of course the whole time, uh, it's kind of just showing us more about, I guess, what was it, like Shinomiya's character and how she's, I guess supposed to be the best at maybe like a hunting kaiju or something, and she's also like the best in I guess in terms of the physical fitness tests they were doing. So she
yeah,
just kind of uses that to sort of constantly like just tease Kafka. Uh, Kafka tries to he tries to like sort of get her back in a way at the beginning of the episode, by like I think still trying to like park his or move his car back to the space he was in before, but I think she ends up like taking the space anyway. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of this whole back and forth between them for the most part, even though like most of the episode is just Kafka losing in most of these exams they're doing, and I guess Shinomiya just kind of pretty much just teasing him about it the whole time. She definitely comes off as very. I mean, I kind of figured as much when I first saw her character, but she's pretty much the typical like tsundere archetype, where she's just always like just teasing the main character, and she she's constantly like smug about her, I guess, being, supposedly being better at what she does.
yeah. I mean, eventually, I do have a feeling that she will eventually warm up to him at some point. Um,
Yeah,
but
probably.
yeah, but yeah, during the what was it that during that that major training session, by the second half of the episode, of course, they are given like these special suits which track their power levels, in which
I think they also
some of them
enhance
like
they enhance their power too, because otherwise without the suits they'd just be normal humans, but the suits are supposed to like
yeah,
give them like super strength on the level of like almost like a kaiju, because I guess they're made from kaiju material.
yeah. but surprisingly, Kafka is like the only recruit with a 0% output with his suit,
Yeah.
despite the fact that he is part kaiju now.
Yeah. So they go through the what was I was kind of surprised that the next thing they have to do is like well, not even really like a mock battle, but actually like a real uh battle with like real kaiju where they have to kill kaiju. I kind of figured they would do some kind of like simulated battle or something, but instead they're actually doing like a real exercise. Um, so yeah, like you said, that they're kind of monitoring them the whole time, and like it was interesting to to watch Kafka like try to figure out, I guess, like how he can, I guess, compensate for his lack of physical, or that he doesn't have a lot of power, so he has to try to come up with some other way to help out. Um, which at one
Yeah,
point he
he
tries to exploit the weakness of one of the kaiju. That's like he basically uses his experience in uh, the kaiju disposal unit to try to remember like the weaknesses of certain kaiju, like the ones they were fighting. Like the fact that one of them has like a soft underbelly that they can where he's vulnerable.
yeah. So he does eventually use it to his advantage until all of a sudden he gets heavily injured by another kaiju. Um, and of course, they also reveal that if any of the participants get into any major danger, then they'll automatically fail the exam. Uh, but before that happens, I think Shinomiya actually steps in and rescues Kafka at the last second, uh, just before Kafka gets himself back up, despite the fact that yeah, he already has internal injuries, and I think he said he has a broken leg or something like that. But he chooses to continue the exam the way that he is.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm wondering how he's gonna. I mean, like, it feels like he pretty much would have to rely on his kaiju abilities because considering he's so weak otherwise. So I'm wondering how he's gonna like compensate for his weakness. Uh, Maybe just use his experience disposing of kaiju to try to gain the advantage or something. But
Mhm.
considering the state he's currently in, like I don't know what he can still do. Of course, at the end of the episode, he's just trying to say like because his whole motivation so far is he's trying to catch up. I forget her name, like his childhood friend. Um,
Um, Ashiro.
yeah, he's like trying to catch up with her, and of course she's watching the whole time too, and um, so she knows that he's recently joined up with them, but we don't really get to see like her reaction to any of that. Like she didn't really at least seem like she has any kind of reaction to it. But we know that she has that she sort of has some kind of pent up feelings about him, but we don't really get a lot about her perspective on it. Um,
Yeah, I mean, she's not revealing it like publicly, towards other people she's with,
yeah,
but privately she seems to be rooting for Kafka to succeed in this.
yeah. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty okay episode. It's kind of it seems like so far it's like the typical like training arc. But I guess it's interesting considering that Kafka is so weak, without his kaiju powers. So I'm wondering what he's gonna do, like when he can't just rely on his kaiju abilities.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he can like suddenly just like transition from like being soldier and then utilizing his kaiju abilities in the field of battle. Whenever he gets to that point.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about the episode though. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
I mean, it was a pretty decent episode.
Yeah,
Not the way I thought it was gonna play out, considering what Kafka is capable of doing. But with the situation that he's in, like he obviously is doing it intentionally, not to get himself caught this early in the game.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, he has to try to find a way to keep his powers a secret. Um, but the problem with that is that it seems like without his powers, it seems like he's effectively useless. Like, I mean, at one point he does just when he gets back up from his injuries, it seems like he gains like a point of a percentage of power or something like that. But it's like that's pretty much nothing anyway. So I mean, I'm wondering if he's just gonna like through sheer willpower try to gain power or something. I don't know, but I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting to see what he does, even, when he can't just use his kaiju powers. Um, but
Mm.
yeah, so that all being said, guys, until next time, we will see you all later.